Hello, lovely people. Today we will be doing a question walkthrough on a GCSE maths question on area and volume. This question was question 21 of the 2024 higher tier non-calculator at Excel paper, and it was worth a flabbergasting 5 marks. So let's look at the question. I'm going to read it out to you, and then after that, you pause the video and have a go at it yourself. Then we can work on it together. A solid cuboid has a volume of 300 centimeters cubed. The cuboid has a total surface area of 370 centimeters cubed. The length of the cuboid is 20 centimeters. The width of the cuboid is greater than the height of the cuboid. This question is asking you to work out the height of the cuboid. First of all, let's underline what we know. We know that this is a cuboid, meaning that we can't assume that length, width, and the height are going to be the same, which we could do for a cube. It has a volume of 300 and a total surface area of 370. The length is 20 centimeters. The width is greater than the height. And this question is asking us to work out the height. All right, have a go at it yourself. Pause the video. Great, now that you have tried the question for yourself, let's work on it together. So we know the volume is 300. So I'm just going to write that down. V is equal to 300. The units are all centimeters, centimeters squared, centimeters cubed, so they all have the same sort of base, so we don't really need to do any conversions. So volume equals 300. Now, how do you calculate the volume of a cuboid? You do length times width times height. So LWH. So L is equal to length, W is equal to width, and then H is equal to height. I'm just writing that down there, so just in case you forget or you're confused as to what I'm talking about, you can refer back to this key. So this means L times W times H, so LWH is equal to the volume, which is 300. We know that the total surface area is 370. So how do you calculate the surface area? You find the area of each face and add them together. So let me draw a cuboid. Give me 1 second. All right, here is my cuboid. So my cuboid has 6 faces. This is the length, this is the width, and let's say this is the height. Now, this doesn't really matter what order you've done it in. It's just a drawing to help you figure it out. So what's the area of this face? LW. What's the area of this face? WH. So LW plus WH, and then this face has the area LH. So the total area of these 3 faces is this. You will have 2 of each face, if that makes sense. So this WH face, for example, you will have 2 of them, one here and one at the back here. So I'm just going to draw the dotted line. So that's where it would be. And then same for this LW face. You have one here. You have this one at the back here as well. And same goes for the LH face. This means that total surface area is equal to 2 times all of this. So that is equal to 2 times LW plus WH plus LH, which is equal to 370. Now let's simplify this equation a bit. Let's divide by 2 on each side. So divide by 2 and divide by 2. So that will give you LW plus WH plus LH is equal to 370 divided by 2, which is equal to 185. That's great. So now we have these 2 equations, and these will help us solve for our answer. Now that I've started you off, if you haven't already, have a go at the question. Alright, let's move on. So we ended up with these two equations. LWH is equal to 300 and LW plus WH plus LH equals 185. Now, we know that the length is equal to 20. Alright, so if LWH equals 300 and L equals 20, that means 20WH is equal to 300. Now, what can we make of this information? Well, if we divide by 20 on both of our sides, we end up with the equation WH is equal to 15. We can use the same sort of substitution for this equation. So let me just rewrite it. LW plus WH plus LH is equal to 185. That means 20W, so because L equals 20, plus WH plus 20H is equal to 185. But we know the value of WH because that's what we've just worked out over here. So we can substitute that in as well and get 20W plus 15 plus 20H is equal to 185. Now, if we subtract 15 from both sides, then what do we end up with? Well, we get 20W plus 20H is equal to 170. What's really amazing is if we divide by 20 on both sides, we end up with W at H is equal to 8.5. So now we have two brand new equations that we can use to finally solve this question. Please have a try at this question. Hint, form a quadratic equation. Let's see, I bet you'll be able to do it. But I'll go through it with you anyways. Alright, see you in a second. Alright, so we know WH is equal to 15 and W add H is equal to 8.5. Now, let's see if we can substitute anything here. WH equals 15, right? So if you divide by W on both sides, so let me just write that down, divide by W, you will get H equals 15 divided by W, which can also be written as 15 over W. So if H equals 15 over W, we can substitute that into this equation and get that W plus 15 over W is equal to 8.5. Now see, here we have a fraction, and frankly, when solving an equation, I dislike fractions. So I'm going to times both sides by W to get rid of it. If you are a extremely amazing mathematical genius, then go ahead and do it with a fraction. But for me, I like to work smarter, not harder. So I'm going to times by W on both sides. And if I just put that in brackets and I times that by W, I'm going to get W squared plus 15W over W is equal to 8.5W, which basically means W squared plus 15 equals 8.5W. Now, you might see here, we have a quadratic equation. And now we are going to solve it. And that will give us our width and our height. So, let's do this. W squared plus 15 equals 8.5W. Now, whenever you're solving a quadratic equation, you always have to make sure you have a zero, preferably on your right-hand side. So let's subtract 8.5W from both sides. So minus 8.5W and minus 8.5W. So that gives us W squared minus 8.5W plus 15 is equal to 0. And now we can solve that like a quadratic equation. Now for me personally, I don't like decimals, so I'm just going to times by 2 on both sides to get 2W squared minus 17W plus 30 is equal to 0. Now, you can solve this using the quadratic formula, but I'm going to use the just solving it by factorizing method. So I need to find two numbers. I have a product of 60 and a sum, which is minus 17. So these two numbers are going to be minus 12 and minus 5. So this means 2w squared minus 12w minus 5w add 30 equals 0. So now I can factorize these two separately. So 2w and w minus 6, and then minus 5w minus 6 equals 0. And all of this means that 2w minus 5 times w minus 6 is equal to 0. So if 2w minus 5 equals 0, let's say, then that means 2w equals 5, and that means w equals 2.5, because you divide by 2 on both sides, and here you add 5 on both sides. If w minus 6 equals 0, that means w is equal to 6. So if w equals 6, and as we knew from before, w times h equals 15, so if w equals 6, that means h is equal to 2.5, because 2.5 times 6 equals 15. But if w equals 2.5, that means h equals 6. So how do we know which one's correct? Well, here it says the width is greater than the height, meaning that this must be correct, because 6 is greater than 2.5. 2.5 is not greater than 6, so this is wrong. And that gives us our final answer. Height is equal to 2.5 centimeters. Our final answer is the height of the cuboid is 2.5 centimeters, and that is the answer you would write on the answer line. Here is a picture of the mark scheme for this question. As you can see, we would have gotten full marks for our answer. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a lot from it. Please subscribe, like, and share this video for more amazing content. I can't wait to see you again soon. If you have any questions, don't hesitate and just drop them in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.